All right, welcome, everybody. Appreciate you guys joining us. Big day today. Elon Musk announced several points today. We're going to go through about FSD. Very good information that he shared. We got Brian White on the road here, heading somewhere. Where are you going, Brian?
I am at an event at the Portland General Electric Operations Command Center. We're doing the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association is out here, and we're going to get a tour of Mission Control.
There you go. This is Brian White, Future Raza, co-streaming on his channel, as well as Nick Gibbs, Investing Against the Grain. Let's get right to the news. I think that's pretty big news. This is the one we've been waiting for. A couple big points he made. First of all, he posted it last night. Tesla's training a new FSD model with 10 times parameters and a big improvement to video compression loss. Probably ready for public release end of next month if testing goes well. This is going to come out next month. We were waiting for either the release of the Austin version or the 4x parameters. It looks like that they're skipping right to the 10x parameters, so that's a big surprise. And it's going to be as early as next month. Maybe he's off again. He was thinking it was going to be happening the next quarter, but this sounds like a very big news. He also said this: we're working as quickly as possible to get 100 or more Teslas operating for autonomous ride hailing in California. In California, they can't say taxi or cab, so it's autonomous ride hailing in the Bay Area and allow anyone to request a ride. 100 plus Teslas operating for that. So let's get started with that. First of all, how big of a news are these two? And then we'll go through what Robert Scoble thought of what this meant, and then what Elon's reply to him was. What do you guys think?
Well, on the 10x parameters, I imagine Nick could give a better explanation, but that's a big deal. It means it's going to be looking at more factors, more variables. It's going to have slightly, probably noticeably better intuition about what's about to happen. It means it's looking more into the future than before. It's considering more of the possibilities on the roadway around it. And the fact that you could 10x it on existing hardware is pretty magnificent.
Yeah.
I would say all of that's fantastic. Nick, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you hit the. Well, let me start off. How do I sound? Sound okay, guys? Do I sound
fantastic?
Okay. All right.
Love
Sorry.
it. I have music
PTSD,
to my ears.
PTSD over here. I'm probably on mute and no one can hear me. That's why they're saying that. No, but so Brian, you said it perfectly on what it means. This 10x in parameter count. Essentially, if they could see in a certain spectrum, now they can get more nuanced in that spectrum and have more rich detail about every little granularity. So there's a lot more nuance. There's more, as many people say, dials to turn. And so it should be able to dramatically understand and contextualize very unique, idiosyncratic scenarios that come up. It should just have such a much more rich understanding of what's happening around it. And because of its ability to understand that, it can make the correct decisions. So it's 10x, like
That's
you 10x
huge.
anything in life. You 10x your portfolio, you 10x anything. That's a lot. So I'm humble enough to say that I don't actually understand what it means. Like, I understand what they mean, what the words mean. I don't understand what I should be expecting, because it's hard to think in 10x increments. You know, like if it's got 10x more parameters, does that mean it'll be 10x better, 20x better, 30x better? Like, what does that mean? Does it mean that I won't?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just hard to really understand.
It might be indiscernibly better because it's the edge cases that you don't notice. It's the littlest things where like maybe at one little weird spot, it would have not noticed the truck coming over as soon and backed off later, where this would allow it to perhaps back off more sooner, the way you would have, the way I would have, the way not my mother-in-law.
Yeah. Robert Scoble gave a list, so let's go through that list right now, what he thinks a 10x better means, and then Elon replied to him agreeing to this. So let's listen to what he said. He said, AI-driven Tesla to get 10x bigger model in 2 months. What does that mean? My expectations, it will see and try to avoid potholes. It will drive on parking lots a lot better and be way better at finding a parking space and parking. I think that's one of the things it's not doing really well right now. It'll be able to figure out pickup and drop-off zones for robotaxi better. Its path planner will be way better for picking the correct lane. It will avoid anomalies much better, be even better with first responders in the street, directing traffic around a wreck, for instance, or dealing better with many rare situations. It will be even smoother and more confident. It can drive faster, Autobahn ready, but that all is held back due to regulations. It will handle high chaos situations, crowds of drunken pedestrians, or airport drop-off and pickup zones way better. So, I mean, everything. Elon replied to him, and this is what he said: minimizing probability of injury is the goal. So that's step one, I guess. It's safer than a human. But we will address these other factors too, if not entirely in this build, then shortly thereafter. I think that's very telling. Basically, his entire list that he gave, if not entirely in this build, these factors too, then shortly thereafter.
I mean, cool.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. It's just like Nick was saying, 10xing anything is ridiculous and hard to fathom, but doing it on the same hardware is even better. I'm looking forward to it. When it comes to the AI statements, other than it will be complete by, the AI statements have been pretty much dead on for over a year now. Well over a year now. So I have high confidence in this. And I'm seeing a lot of very silly and skeptical headlines about this. I was going to bring them up. I may still do it on a different show, but Tesla introduces chauffeur-driven rides in California. Really? Is that the headline we're going with? And I think that might have been Reuters. Deeply cynical, fundamentally misunderstands the entire regulatory process. It looks to me like the competition is getting scared.
Mm-hmm. Nick, what's your thinking about what he said there? That these are the things he might get to.
I was speaking on mute like a fool. One day, me and this mic will agree. I was going to say, maybe you guys can help me understand, and this might be a reading comprehension issue, but Herbert, do you have that post where he talks about the 100 taxis, whatever post? Do you have that handy?
Mm-hmm.
You always have it handy.
Mm-hmm.
You always have everything handy.
I already showed it, didn't I?
Yeah, but can you show it again? Yeah. I didn't know if you had it. I don't know how you have it structured, so I didn't know if it was hard to go back. But so, okay, when I read this, we are working as quickly as possible to get 100 plus Teslas operating for autonomous ride hailing. Can't use the word taxi or cab in California. So does that mean that they can't say robo-taxi, but they can say autonomous ride hailing? Like, yes. I don't...
Oh, in California, there's a rule and law right now that when you first launch, you have to have a driver in the seat for the first 55,000 miles. And so that is not a robotaxi. That is it's a ride-hailing service.
But autonomous ride-hailing, how's that any different than robotaxi? Autonomous ride-hailing is, I would say, more of a way to say robotaxi than a robotaxi is. Robo means nothing. It's robot.
Oh, I think there's
taxi and cab both have people. I mean, we're not allowed to use the words that mean there's people in it.
But that's what I'm saying. Fine. So autonomous ride-hailing to me sounds more like robotaxi.
I see.
Right?
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
Yeah. There's a specific regulation that they were able to get, and they don't have the one yet that allows them to be a taxi cab. Yeah.
But that's where what I'm wondering is, are we interpreting this wrong by saying that, or is he saying no? We're trying to get Austin type robotaxi 100 plus as fast as possible.
No. But
it literally says autonomous ride hailing. That is more today saying robotaxi than saying robotaxi.
Yeah, currently today in the Bay Area. Well, they can't say taxis at this point, but they are able to do what they're doing, which is supervised FSD driving the cars that they already have. There's nothing new here. This is just that we want to get 100 of them in the Bay Area They just can't use certain words. Yeah. It's the same as it always been for the last couple of weeks since it launched. I don't see
and
anything
then
here.
I guess my other question is, why say this about California but not Austin?
Well, I think he's saying 100 plus, and he's just saying autonomous vehicles. I can't say taxi or cabbing. He's trying to make a broad statement without getting in trouble in one of the two markets, is how I read it.
Okay. Yeah,
No,
I'm not trying to linger on it, but like,
guys.
it's funny.
Yeah, no. So in Austin, they have certain regulations. In California, they have regulations, and that's why in California they have to have a person on the driver's seat, like all autonomous vendors must start with to get the first 55,000. In Austin, they were able to skip right to the,
I get that.
Right.
What I'm
Yeah,
saying
okay.
is, what if he's talking past that point?
I don't think
What
so.
if he's saying,
What-
like, we're trying to
you think
get
so?
those 50,000 miles as fast as possible, but we're trying to get to
Exactly.
100 plus. We're trying to get to
Yes.
100 plus fully autonomous, no humans as possible. Versus another way you could read that is we're trying to get 100 vehicles with humans behind the steering wheel as fast as possible.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
That's what
it
I'm
reads
thinking.
to me
I
like
get
what
you.
I'm saying. You're
Okay, gotcha.
interpreting something here.
I think either way, it won't matter in 2 weeks
Why?
because it's going to move so quickly.
Fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
think the
Once you get
jump-
100, you should get the 55,000 right away. Yeah.
Well, I think once you've got 100 in one city, you'll have 100 in either city. I mean, it's just going to go quickly. This isn't Waymo.
Well, this is Bay Area. This is in the Bay Area. We're going to get 100 Teslas operating in the Bay Area.
No, we get that, but I think Brian's addressed my other point was like, why not? Sometimes I just don't understand the poor communication. If you have the ability to talk about what you're planning for the Bay Area, why wouldn't you also talk about what you're planning for Austin?
See, I read it as being about both combined, but
Do you?
I
No.
do. But in either case, it's going to move very quickly, and I think I'm not worried about it.
No, I'm not worried either. I'm just trying to understand. I'm seeking knowledge. Seeking
It's so obvious to
understanding.
me. I don't know why you guys are confused.
It
In
can't be
Austin,
obvious to you, though, because you're reading it-
Austin,
No, we get
they
that. You're reading
they
this
have
incorrectly.
they're going to get rid of the safety monitor. That's going to take a little bit of time before they feel comfortable doing that. In California, they have to have a supervised driver, and so they're going to get 100 of them as fast as possible there, as fast as possible, to be able to do that service.
That's not what it says.
I think that's what it says, but okay.
Verbatim, read what it says. Not
Yeah, I
once
know,
does it
because
talk
of the
about
word
people.
autonomous. Okay,
Yeah.
it says we are working as
Autonomous
quickly as
has a
possible to get
meaning.
100 or more Teslas operating in the Bay Area and allow anyone to request a ride. Right?
You skip the autonomous ride hailing.
Yeah. So the word autonomous is what you are focusing on rather than, the fact that it's you
You're right.
still
I
have to
don't
have a
see anywhere
driver.
that says driver behind the wheel.
Yeah. Well, they still have to have a driver behind the wheel. That's a fact. And I think that it's like he's trying to remind people that this is FSD that is supervised, but really all these rides are being autonomously done. The guy's sitting there with his hands off the wheels and they don't touch the wheels.
I don't know. I think you're doing a lot of interpreting, and you're doing what Elon says don't do. He says,
I think you're reading too much into it.
No,
Yeah.
he says one does not need to read between the lines. One simply needs to read the lines. The lines say autonomous ride hailing. There's no date or anything, so maybe this is 3 months away. But to me, it says that they are trying to get to over 100 autonomous ride hailing vehicles in the Bay Area ASAP. Doesn't tell me anything about someone behind the wheel or anything. I don't know.
Okay. That's
You guys let
it
us know
could be.
in the comments.
I think I'm just being very
Like
pretty
button.
straightforward.
Subscribe to these two guys and let us know in the comments who's right, who's wrong, and then if there is questionable interpretation.
Yeah.
And on a scale
Okay.
of 1 to 10, how important is this discussion really?
I mean, I think it's important. This is it. This is first of all, robotaxi is the most important thing for Tesla at this point. If they're expanding it, there's a 10x parameter count. There's a vehicle count. The vehicle count is the one thing that we've been waiting for. It's one thing when they keep expanding geography. It's another thing if you haven't yet expanded vehicles and the number of people, the invites of who can use it, and that's what we're waiting for. So in California, in the Bay Area, they're going to put 100 there. We're working as fast as we can to get 100 more. And I think the reason they can do that is because it is supervised FSD rather than not unsupervised FSD. So if that's the case, you're right. They should have been able to do that in Austin before they will do Bay Area. So that's why it's like pretty straightforward to me that these are supervised drivers. Get as many of them as possible.
I don't see supervised written anywhere. But Brian,
No.
it is important though, because it's at least 3.3% to the stock important.
I
So
mean,
there's
I'm waiting for self-driving mega packs.
ooh,
And we'll have-
that's that's sexy.
I
Just
mean,
put wheels on them, dude.
I joke, but for a disaster-stricken area, who knows? That day may be coming.
Sure.
Ooh, that's actually brilliant. Imagine like
Thank
one
you.
of those Robovans that's just nothing but like batteries and it shows up and everyone can just plug into it.
Disaster relief power, unbelievable.
Here's
Gonna be rich.
another sign
We invented
that
it,
things
but-
are moving forward in Tesla in Texas. Robotaxi validation vehicles were spotted in Temple, Texas, at a Buc-ee's, roughly halfway between Austin and Dallas Fort Worth. This is really far away. These are the validation vehicles. You can see that it's about, apparently here, Nick Cruz Patain says, way north of the current Austin service area. It's about an hour and 16 minutes away from the service area. So that is a good sign. Another good sign. They're going to expand the geography. But again, what we haven't heard is expanding the vehicles.
It does you only so much good if it's available coast to coast and there's only 30 cars. But I'm confident that what they're really demonstrating is that we don't need to HD map to the millimeter the entire world for this to work. We can ramp the geography very, very quickly. Now we just need to ramp the vehicles. The fact that they're going halfway to Dallas already is pretty shocking. And I will point out that we haven't, everywhere we've seen these vehicles, we have immediately thereafter seen coverage.
Yeah, actually, if you think about the strategy, I think it makes sense, doesn't it? Let's say they say, we could now do robotaxi with a safety monitor in the entire state of Texas, but we're going to only have 30 cars. It almost doesn't matter, does it? You tell me, if there's 30 cars or 1,000 cars, what matters is people are watch this autonomous ride-hailing service, right, in this area. Then people can go, oh, they can do 30. Of course they can do 1,000. Of course they can do 20,000. Do you guys think that makes sense? Or do you think that people need to see 1,000 cars before they go, oh my God, this is real?
I think the geography validates one important part of it and the vehicle count validates another. So I can see the value in both.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I picked Brian's answer. That was good.
Yeah. That's a very good answer.
Yeah. I think the question is who's people, right? Because that matters. And Waymo doesn't have 1,000 out there in a city. So,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, people talk about when there's Waymos in their city, like they're everywhere. And there's like,
Yeah, there's 100 in Austin, and we see them everywhere. But there's only 100 in Austin, and there's 300 in San Francisco, and you have 1,000 total everywhere. So I think those numbers might have changed, but as recently as several months ago, that's what the numbers were.
And the truth is, even if Tesla had 1,000 in Austin, you wouldn't know it.
If they don't put a badge on it, you probably won't.
Even if they
can't
put a
tell.
badge on it, you can barely see it. You're just gonna be like, "Oh, someone's got a Tesla." Like the badge is. It's not like it's.
in Austin.
Hey, I'm here.
For those who've never
Yeah.
been, Austin is pretty Tesla dense.
So so first of all, what's the big deal of this 10x parameter that they're going to release the end of next month? Let's say, okay, that's 2 months from now, month and a half from now, and yeah, it's Elon, so we don't know. We can't really trust to say that will certainly be released by the end of the month, but it's on path. It sounds like, and I've been telling people that I've been shocked at how good FSD is for me, and you get these comments, and I ask them and drill a few questions, and I have to say, which kind of Tesla are you driving? If you are driving a hardware 3 Tesla, you may not be seeing the performance I'm seeing. I'm driving a hardware 4 Model 3, and for that, it's been flawless for 5.5 months. Now, it's one person driving all over the Pacific Northwest, but it's just one person. So maybe I haven't seen those edge cases that other people have said. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm just shocked at how good this car has been for me for the last 6 months in Pacific Northwest. But you have to be driving hardware 4. That's because I have a hardware 3 car too, and I don't see it having the same flawless performance. And so that's step one. I just want to clarify to people. But now that I'm seeing what I'm seeing now, and then you have a 10x improvement to it. Now, just because the parameters are 10x doesn't mean that the features are 10x. I get that.
I would say, honestly, if the parameters are 10x, I think the improvement will probably be even greater than that.
Can you explain that more?
I would say it's really hard to measure better. Can you mute, Herbert?
Oh, sorry. Gotcha.
We
You can
hear the gas guzzler lawnmower outside,
Yeah,
polluting
the
our
blowers.
earth.
It's quite loud. I think it's hard to measure 10 times better. How do you measure that? Adding another 9 makes it 10 times better, but it's hard to notice it at the end of the trailing 9s there. 10x. If it was 10x better, I does that take us from 1,000 miles per intervention to 10,000, or from 10,000 to 100,000? You won't notice that on your first drive, probably. You might not notice it on your 50th drive, but you will. But it is there, whether you notice it or not. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point, Brian. But the way, if it's what I think it's going to be what it was like going from 11 to 12, what it was like going from 12 to 13. And I think going to this one, I think might be even bigger. And I hear what you're saying about it might be hard to notice, and it might be, especially if you're on the version that we're all on, because it's pretty, I mean, it's I don't know about you guys. I don't have interventions. But where I think you might see it would be like in those comments. Oh, there's a pothole. I'm going to avoid it. Oh, we got in the parking lot. It finds a parking spot and parks faster than what I would. Maybe actual smart summon actually works really well. Maybe there's banish. Maybe the lane choice it takes, it just knows way quicker, hey, I need to get over. Maybe it sees further out, so there's a ambulance or construction, it goes and like I think those are the things you'll notice. Those are the, we're going higher and higher in grit of sandpaper, and we're making this smoother and smoother, and that's what's happening here. So I think if it's what I think it's going to be, then you will be able to notice it, but it'll be of that fashion, which it won't feel as dramatic. To your point, it won't feel like what 11 to 12 was, but that's because, again, if I'm going from a really high grit sandpaper to even higher grit, it's hard to tell. Like, man, these are both so smooth. Like, how do I tell the difference here? I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I love that explanation, and I would say that sometimes when behavior is so good, it can be hard to notice. I remember one time I said to my family, I said, "When was the last time we had to cancel a lane change?" And we're like, "Oh my gosh, that's probably very early version. That was a year ago, and we didn't notice." So I think people like you and I will notice quicker because we'll be looking for it. But to your point about how good 13 has gotten, I don't not use it. I never hesitate to use it because it reduces driving stress level by 90%. I'm just here for the ride, and I'm paying attention, but that's it.
Can I, Herbert? I don't know if you have next topics to talk about, but I would kind of like to hijack it for 2 seconds and get your guys' point of view. It is starting to get very, I don't have a better word right now than infuriating, but it upsets me deeply that Tesla, Elon are not doing a better job about getting the message out there about FSD. Every time I talk about it on X, I get the response back, well, no, they know things we don't. We should wait because if one person gets in an accident, whatever, or one person's not responsible. And it's like, if that's the point, then we should never talk about it. They should not have every service member out there or at the service centers trying to, with quotas to give 2-minute rides for every time someone gets in there. Like, if this is, then we should remove autopilot. If this is the argument, which to me isn't cogent, then what are we doing here? And to me, it's not about the stock price. It's not about Elon's comp. I don't think he's waiting for that. And if he is, then shame on him. This is a safety critical thing. One of the top 3 reasons toddlers die every year is from car accidents. We have life-saving technology here. And even if it's not the most capital efficient thing to do, we should, at the bare minimum, be advertising this at Super Bowls, at March Madness. College football and NFL season is about to start. We should be doing it there. We should be all over YouTube. Like, this is life-saving technology. And I feel like we got off our earnings call where they said that they're like, oh, surprisingly, 50% you don't even know about it, I've never even tried it. It's like, I'm embarrassed for you guys. You're admitting that you guys are doing so bad on your own KPIs on getting observability for this. You should be embarrassed to even throw those numbers out there, Elon. And in my opinion, you're costing lives out there. You have life-saving technology out there. People don't know about it. Onus is on you to get this awareness. I don't understand this. And I was just at lunch with Larry Goldberg and CERN and another individual who founded a really large company, sold it, and he was asking us, he's got Rivian, he was asking us, like, you think FSDs, like, how far do you think they really are? Do you really think it's that good? I'm like, it blows my mind that you're a tech entrepreneur, you're worth as much as you are, and even you don't know about this. You're sitting here, you're friends with Larry, you're both in my town to go see Kathy Woods, and even you don't know about this. This is blowing my mind. It tells me there's such little understanding out there, even amongst the people you would think definitely know who are in the tech space. I don't know, like, am I off basis here? But this just seems insane to me.
No, I saw your post this morning on X about it, and I was right there with you. When you have something that I wasn't thinking about the safety aspect, but you're right. When you've got something that's this important for safety, I mean, shout it from the mountaintops. I don't know if Super Bowl is the most effective way to communicate it, but as awesome as it is to spend a big pile of millions on a diner that raises brand awareness, that doesn't help sell FSD. And when people say, I didn't sign up to be part of your FSD experiment on my roadways, I say, I didn't sign up to be here while you text and drive, because I guarantee you're doing that. I don't text and drive. You know how I know? Because I have FSD and it watches my eyeballs. It makes me a better occupant, a better supervisor, but I'm not a driver, not anymore. So how do we get that out? I don't know, but I will say it is 11:31, so I have got to get into this event and do my job here. There will be no after show today because I'll be touring the operations facility. Nick, as always, I appreciate your valuable insights. I really do. And Herbert, you know I love you, baby. Everybody else, I'll talk to you soon.
Love you
Brian,
too.
have fun. Be safe.
Have a good one.
Thanks.
So let's break down what you said. I would completely agree with everything you said. I can think and see some other reasons why they may be doing what they're doing. But yes, so number one was, they went out and did free FSD trials 6 months ago, maybe 9 months ago, right? And they went out and really pushed it hard. My brothers, my cousins all have Teslas. They drove FSD. About 2-3 months ago, I went there, visited them at a restaurant, and I told them, oh, this car drove me all the way from Seattle to Vancouver, Canada, perfectly well. And they said, no. Both of them said, I've tried FSD. It's got issues. And I'm like, well, okay, no, I get you. I was right with you, but you've got to try it again. You have to have a hardware for a car. You want to try it again. Because they tried it too early, it still had issues. And that's now ingrained into their mind. So you don't want to do it too early. And I think they tried it too early. Now, why aren't they doing it right now? They have robotaxi actually in Austin. They have robotaxi, ride hailing in California, and they're about to expand their process. They're being very careful because they don't want to have an incident. And because Tesla's treated the way they're treated, one stupid incident is going to make global news, headline everywhere. and this image of everybody will be basically solidified.
But that's already happened. That's already
I know.
happened. So who cares?
So right. So maybe what they're doing is that they just want to be careful and not push FSD to the public until you get the 10x. That you got much less chance, maybe. But you're right. I totally agree with you that the version I'm driving now is so good. I want as many people to be using it too. But also,
hold on, because you make a lot of points. So I want to let's talk about them.
Yeah.
You just got done saying this whole thing about the safety. They don't want to push it out because if one thing happens, whatever. But they're doing it. They're already talking about it. Elon's saying on every car, go test it, go try it. Salespeople have to they have quotas for 2 minutes at minimum that every person who gets in a Tesla, they have to use FSD for 2 minutes. So that debunks what you're saying.
Right.
They're not doing anything because they're concerned about what if there's an accident in the world and all. They're not. That is not why. They're just doing let's just be honest. They're just doing a very bad job on bringing awareness to FSD. It's not because people have tried it and it wasn't as good. Okay, guess what? This is AI. Everyone understands that. Every single month it gets better and better and better. And so get people to try it more.
I'm very comfortable if they today push it really hard. I am. So here's what, so at the earnings call, just to get everybody up to speed, at the earnings call, Elon said that 50% of people who have a Tesla have not tried FSD. And then he said, we're going to do things to fix this, right? We'll do what we can. Sawyer said Tesla has instituted some changes since the earnings call to address the FSD awareness issue. They just haven't posted about it, which is weird. So he
said this in response to my
you post. Said, yeah. Oh, he responded, yeah. So you said it's been a few weeks since Tesla's shareholder, you meant earnings call. Haven't seen any attempt by the company to move the needle in FSD awareness. More of the same. You're right. Either someone needs to be fired or someone needs to be hired because it's been a couple of weeks. They really should have already done things to move things, FSD awareness. And Sawyer's kind of saying, oh, they already instituted some changes, but they haven't told us yet.
Yeah, but okay, this is the stupid, Sawyer,
right. We don't know if he's right. No,
I've ever seen. They have done, they've implemented changes for more awareness, but we're not going to tell people about the awareness that we're putting out there because it's top secret awareness, so nobody knows about it.
Maybe they're preparing and they're still working on, going out with it. But yeah.
Come on. They clearly haven't implemented anything.
Yeah.
What are they doing? Talk to us.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. It's maybe I'm getting over, I'm turning the Farzad where as he was having his child, all of a sudden he started looking at things in life through the lens of I'm a father now and all that. And so now we're 6 weeks out from having our baby. And I'm just thinking about I don't want my child to be at risk. Not just in my own vehicle, but of some other idiot, like Brian was saying, on their phone. Yeah. And if they would have FSD, then maybe that would be less chance that something happens to me and my family, or you and your family.
Yes.
I don't know. It irritates me. Nobody has a problem with ChatGPT and using that or Grok and using that. And Elon will talk about Grok nonstop, apparently. But God forbid he talks about FSD in the same way he talks about Grok. One saves lives, one doesn't. I really don't understand. I wish I understood it. I wish he would just give some type of response. But I feel like right now, his posts are not aligned with what he says his morals are. And he talks about, I don't care about the perception of good. I care about doing good. And the most good he could do right now is make sure that as many people know about FSD. And if you were doing that, I don't care about what else you do with Grok and all that. That's great. But you shouldn't be talking about that more so than the life-saving thing you have in front of you. Not only that, but that keeps more people alive, which is your whole point about we need more humans on this planet. Well, if people are dying, I don't know. It's really starting to bother me.
Okay.
I just see how safe it is and how good it is, how much it works.
We haven't seen the data, which is what they need to announce the data. But as far as you and I are concerned, today is safer today than not safer. So just for me personally,
they agree.
I turn it on. Yeah, I turn it on all the time now because I feel safer with it on than off because I know that the 8 cameras are there. We were just at the very fast moving highway and there's lots of cars going everywhere. And every time the car would try to get into the next lane, I feel safer because I know that, how the number one accident happens is you're trying to turn to the get lane and you're looking back to make sure that there's nobody in your blind spot. Then you forget to look forward and see if that car slows down. And then all of a sudden you go, oh shit, right? And that's how accidents happen. Now you know that you got cameras. And so you're looking this way, but you feel comfortable because you know that the FSD is looking forward as well. So I want to see the data, but I highly agree. I highly believe, confident that it is already much, much safer than humans today with the version I'm using at version 4. And it's going to get better once we get the robotaxi version or the other one. Of course it matters. I mean, you want to get the most safest version out there to promote.
Can I explain? Here's why the data doesn't matter and why it's irrelevant. Because everybody talks about how Tesla has their data internally. They don't share it outwardly, but they have it and they know where it's at, right? We've heard people say a million times. Okay, fair enough. Every earnings call, Elon says, just try it. Just try it.
Right.
Like I said, they have quotas for all their salespeople now that they have to give a FSD. They're literally tracked on this. Every test drive, they have to be in the vehicle with them for 2 minutes using FSD and showing them how to use it. If Tesla did not have the internal data that validates this is safe and ready, they would not be doing that. Ergo, the problem is not that Tesla is trying to be cautious or anything like that. The problem is that they're doing a poor job on marketing and getting the news out there about this technology. And I will be the person who's annoyingly going to talk about this every freaking time because it's getting me heated. Enough of everybody sitting there trying to say, well, they may know something no one else does, or we don't want this one accident, whatever. Guys, if that was true, they would pull autopilot from everywhere. But they keep autopilot out there. They give the software away for free. If it was about the worry that someone might do something stupid, they would not have it out there. They would not be advertising it the way they do. They would not have quotas for their sales teams. That is not an argument.
It's not an argument. You're right. And then a couple of weeks ago, or at the earnings call, Elon himself said, we're going to do a better job trying to educate everybody. And but we haven't seen it. But he wouldn't have said that if they're worried about rolling it out too early, whatever.
But he also said that I'm out of politics now, whatever, and then I'm going to start in America for no, he will say things. He's human. He's allowed to change his mind. That's fine.
Yeah,
like we're all human. We're allowed to change our mind. But I just feel like everyone thinks if Elon hasn't done it, then there must be a big reason why, whatever. And it's like, no, listen, Elon, I think is the most brilliant person of my lifetime. I think he is 99.99 signal. But guess what? He sucks at some stuff. That's the reality. We all suck at some stuff. And I think he sucks at this right now. Now, it's probably because he's not putting his attention to it because for some reason he doesn't want to. But if he's not going to, then they need to get someone who will. It seems so clear to me. I think
number one way to sell cars.
Yes, exactly. That's
demand driver. Yeah.
Don't Tesla or Elon, don't worry about selling cars. Worry about telling people about FSD. It will sell the cars.
Yeah, you make good points.
Like you're focusing on the wrong thing.
Yeah,
sell FSD. Sells the car.
He knows that, of course, but yes, something's they're not performing as well as they should. So did you know this, right? But in the last month or two, I've started to say that I think Tesla should start advertising now. And the reason is because the number one reason why they didn't need advertising is not in lieu of price cuts. The number one thing you need to do is lower the cost of the car so people can afford it. You can advertise all you want and try to sell a $200,000 car. You're not going to sell more than 5% if you're very lucky because there's just nobody can afford it. So, but now that they're about to launch the more affordable vehicles that they're hinting could actually be, the monthly payment could be really low or decent, that's when you want to advertise that to make people aware, because there's a broader group of people that are not aware that Teslas can be bought at that price point. So I think they might advertise that and FSD. They should be advertising this now too.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying recently.
Kinds of advertisements they can do, Herbert.
Right.
Like, you know how many people would just go and test drive a Tesla if they understood how easy it is to test drive a Tesla? How convenient it is, how you don't have to deal with the salesperson or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Show up, hand them your ID, get in your car. That's it. You know how people do it? Like, just think about the advertising.
And they let you have it now for overnight now. You can keep it for a one overnight session.
Yeah, like there's so much that they could do.
Yeah.
There's so much potential unlocked. And I'm with you. Look, people like Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, Ron Barron, some of the best investors of our lifetime, they put out their capital and they start buying, right? The famous phrase, when there's be greedy when there's blood in the streets, right? Right now, there's blood in the streets for all the auto manufacturers.
Automakers. Yeah.
This is the time for Tesla to invest in marketing advertisement to get all of those people. It's the time to do it. Tesla has the balance sheet. They have the technology. They have the story. They have it all. It's time to put your money to work.
Oh man, you're making some very good points. And then some people were pointing out different ideas of what kind of marketing or advertising you can do. That's you don't have to necessarily just go on TV and advertise like the other car.
The gamification is brilliant.
Yeah, I like the idea of the Willy Wonka idea, right? Like you every there's a lottery and you might get to be the one that gets to meet Elon or go to the factory or get a free roadster. That you got to be careful with that one. A lot of people pissed off about the roadster.
I like the simple ideas. Like, hey, for every 50 miles you drive of FSD, you get one free supercharging mile, or a free supercharging session.
Right.
Like, gamify it. Get people out there using it. Or Brian had a great one last week. Tesla knows what are some like predictable routes people take. On one of them, hey, why don't you try FSD for this route? Like just for free. Yeah. Charge it by the mile. Lower the friction. My best friend, he has a Hardware 3 vehicle. All right. Yeah. He canceled FSD subscription because he was sick of not having the latest updates. He had to drive across the state to go to his family's house. And he was like, I don't really want to pay a full month for like just a one day. I wish I had the option to just pay for the day or for the mile
trip. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, I probably would have paid like $15-$20 for it, like easily. Like there's a market there. Make it more expensive to go by the mile. Make it cheaper, more cost effective to go by the month, and make it even more cost effective to go by the year. Like there's so many little things we could do. And I don't know. Maybe Sawyer's right, and maybe he's got some people sending him some messaging, and like certain things just haven't rolled out yet, and maybe they are waiting for the 10x and parameter and all that. But in my opinion, why wait?
Yeah,
why delay?
I don't think he's waiting, because he did say at the earnings call, he did say we're going to do this. But he's also said in the past, which I think is a right thinking, which is the real value of FSD. So you and I find it to be valuable because it's safer than safer for us to drive. Some reason this doesn't seem to be driving everybody to go, I got to do it. The real value, he said, is when you can go and do your makeup. You can go to sleep. You can watch a movie. You can play a game. The moment that you can do that, and Tesla says, this is unsupervised, you can go ahead and just use FSD. It'll drive you to the location. We'll pay for any accidents, and we've got proof to show that it's very, very safe and you'll be fine. That, he said, is the real value, and that's going to be the unlock. Right now, the FSD, you and I find it very valuable. We don't want to ever let go because it makes our drive much better, but it's not yet, it's valuable, but it's not yet like to that point where people must have it now.
How do we know that?
I don't know. That's a good point. But that's what he said. And he's pretty right about these things, usually. I
mean, is he?
Yeah, the real value is when you can play a game. Yeah, I think there's a point there that makes you go, I think that sounds right.
He's right about that. Yeah. I think he's wrong to tie the fact that people aren't adopting it because they don't find as much value in it yet. People aren't adopting, in my opinion, because either one, like you said, they're on Hardware 3, or two, because they're not aware of it. And the majority of people, I believe, have Hardware 3, not Hardware 4 vehicles. And even more majority than that are people who have no idea about it, apparently. So
Yeah, that is a bit confusing, though, isn't it, Nick? I mean, if you start telling people FSD is so good, and then they go, "Okay, I'm going to buy this used car. It's got a hardware 3," and then they go, why is it not working? Or it's not as good as you're saying it is, then they'll be pissed. Now, I don't know. I doubt that is coming into, the equation here, but I mean, they have to have a plan of what to do with the hardware 3 folks. I've got 2 cars that are hardware 3. So I'm curious what will I do with that? Yeah. I already updated one to a hardware 4 car, and I'm just about to get another one, using up my Tesla credits and all that. So, but
how many credits you got?
Yeah, well, because I got a YouTube channel, I appreciate all my viewers. Thank you. And they bought a lot of cars and they used my link, so I'm very fortunate that way. I maxed it out. But you have to use it or lose it, those Tesla credits. And so it's like, okay, I have to use it anyways, and so I might as well go ahead and pull the trigger. But the hardware 3 cars need to find a way. And right now, what are you thinking? Because at one point, they think that they can take this, but if they 10x the parameters, by the way, at that point, you may not be able to squeeze that into a hardware 3 car inference chip anymore. Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, just tell you my opinion. I wouldn't be waiting for your Model 3 or for your hardware 3 vehicle to get a magical up. Like Tesla would probably be better incentivized saying, "Hey, I'll give you $5,000 off on your next car."
So that's what Elon interrupted Ashok when Ashok was saying, after we work on the robotaxi, we're going to then figure out how to take that into and fit it into the hardware 3. And then Elon interrupted him and said, "We're just going to why don't we just pay update everybody to hardware 4, right? We'll upgrade your car from hardware 3 to hardware 4." But when, right? It probably won't happen until second half of next year if we're very lucky.
But that's what I'm saying. I think the game is to run out the clock for Tesla. Meaning, Tesla can wait. Tesla can wait longer to address that problem than you can before you're like, screw this.
Look what they did with the Roadster. Yeah, that Roadster. Yeah. Jesus, people were waiting for that.
I think the plan is to say, yeah, we'll get to it, and by the time they get to it, nobody will have waited.
Yeah. But yeah, they should give them incentives to get to the hardware 4.
Yes, you do.
And then push FSD. But yeah, that's another thing to think about. But I agree with you. You make some very good points. FSD is absolutely something that people need to be aware of at this point. And of course, it would help the stock. I mean, some people think, and I'm not in the camp, but some people think that Elon is somehow not yet pushing hard until he has his plan set up or something like that. But you just got this $29 billion, restricted stock award that is contingent, of course, still. Then he's got the shareholder meeting coming up. I'm not one that is buying into that theory quite yet, that he's holding back. Yes, it's very possible he is, but I mean, he still says the same things, which is, I think our company's worth $25 trillion, and FSD, we're going to have we're rolling out robotaxis everywhere, and we'll have, by second half of next year. I mean, I don't know. Those statements have not been sandbagged. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think he is. If that's what he's doing, if he's sandbagging it, I think it's irresponsible. It's greedy. At the risk of other people having life-saving technology. Like, that's what we're talking about here. At the end of the day, Elon knows the compensation package is gonna get addressed one way or another. He knows that. He knows that all shareholders, all institutional investors are gonna vote on his new pay package. He knows this. Only an idiot would think that it's not going to happen. One way or another, his pay package will get addressed. One way or another, he's going to get
September, they're going to drop the proxy, and they're going to share with us the new compensation plan for 2025 for him. Here's what will happen in the next 5 or maybe 10 years. Elon's going to take the company from where we're at today, and he'll take it to a $25 trillion company, whatever they come up with. If the company is at $4 trillion today, it might be harder. to get his
we're at 1
tranches,
trillion.
because my point is that if it's at 1 trillion today, then he's got it all mapped out. But if he doubles the company's value by the time September comes, then it's harder for him to take. It's easier for him to take a 1 trillion to a 10 trillion than it is from a 2 trillion to a 20 trillion.
I don't think there's going to be anything in this comp plan where, if there's nothing in this comp plan, in my opinion, where at a $500 stock price, he meets one of his
Change
goals.
difference. I see. Yeah. I think it's
like
so big that it's,
it has to be if you're going to compare it to the last one.
Yeah.
And we have all these promises. Like, it has to be. So it's like, I mean, I get the
they're
argument.
rolling out FSD. They're rolling it out as fast as they can, and it's happening. So it's not like
exactly
he's
like with
trying
that
to hold
logic,
it back. And
exactly with that logic, they would be holding back Robotaxi. They wouldn't have launched when they did. Like, I get the point. I just think it's stupid. It's just stupid to me. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Nothing in this pay package. If he could go out and get the stock to $500, I guarantee you, whatever that pay package is, we still would not have hit one milestone on that package. So it's not about the stock. He's not holding it back, in my opinion.
I don't think so either.
Either he's got the wrong people talking to him, giving him advice, or there's something we're not aware of, or I don't know. I don't have the answers. I all I can say is I know I don't know, but I will express my frustration because I don't know. And to me, that's what we are to do as investors. We're to express our feelings, our points of view. And my hope is that by talking about this with you and Randy and Farzad and others, there will be more people in the Tesla community to say, okay, before it made sense. Version 11 FSD made sense. Even version 12 made sense. Now, doesn't make sense.
Yep.
Now, we
Spread
are
the word. Awareness.
We need exactly. We need awareness. And
So,
you know what, Elon? Sometimes you're not the best person to do it. Sometimes you can't be the face of it. That's just that's the sad truth. Pre 2024 election, maybe you could have. Now the truth is you're a polarizing character. You always have been, but not in the political sense. Now you are. So like sometimes you're just not the right person to be the face of it. Maybe we need Sweeney Todd in here.
Yeah, I'm not ready to agree with that statement.
Or Sweeney Todd. I meant wow, I just butchered that. What's her name? Sydney Sydney Todd.
Sydney Sweeney. Ooh.
Sydney Sweeney. Yeah, maybe we need her to be the face of it. That was
Yeah.
That was a joke
Gotcha.
that did not land. I messed it up.
So you said something earlier that I thought was interesting. So that you were saying that Tesla today is irresponsible if they're not pushing really hard to spread the FSD awareness, because it saves lives, and you can save more lives the longer you wait, the more side. Okay. I get that anger that you have, but I let's not say anger, the frustration you have about it. And I agree with you that we should do that. But where I've been very, very upset with, and I've been very just starting to get riled up, is whenever I see mainstream media or other parties who are hammering Tesla for their FSD. And you write an article and you say how, whatever, FSD's speeding and all that, and you are killing people. Did you realize that article? You are killing people. There's 40,000 people dying every year, 44,000 last year, 40,000 this year, 2 years ago and last year of human drivers killing each other in the US. And you're writing an article trying to slow down the development of this tool, this platform that is already surpassed. We're already at the point now where there's no more real questions at this point, whether it's safer for humans or not. We're at that point. And so when you're writing this, trying to slow that down, where are you going to land in history if you look back what you just did? You're trying to convince politicians, you're convincing the community, the backlash, and you are killing people. The longer you try to push off these things, and that's the thing that really pisses me off, is do you realize as an author, you're doing that?
You are 1,000% correct. But you know what? You got to control what you can control. And the best way Tesla can fight that is to go out there and advertise and market FSD. You should have commercials that just talk about the safety of it. You should have commercials with elderly people using it and how it's given them the ability to have their life back. You should have funny commercials in there where a woman is curbing her rims on the rash, and then all of a sudden she gets a Tesla and it just parallel parks for her. The best way that Tesla can fight back against this is to put the message out there.
Yeah.
Sunlights. Elon talks about all the time.
Yeah, that point about the elderly or the people who are a little getting older, I've started to hear people tell me that from my friends who are elderly and others. Larry Goldberg is a very good example about his wife. How they were telling me how they're telling me how they're just so when they hear that there's this tool called FSD and they realize that it's actually helpful, and that just because they're just not as confident with their eyesight or their decision making, whether or not they should still be on the road or not, but they're still fine, but this just gives them that comfort. I didn't realize how big of a deal that was, because I did hear it once, I heard it twice. Now I've been hearing it so often, realizing now that this is a really big deal. Like, which is the opposite of what you think, because I had the bias that the older person would be less likely to adopt a new technology or doubt it. But in fact, they're the ones that are embracing it. And so I think you're right. If Tesla comes out and starts telling people that this is something that the elderly population or the older person that you would really, really, they will jump on it, I think, at this point. They will appreciate it. Yeah.
You got to meet them where they're at. You should be advertising on Netflix, on Hulu, on Peacock, on Fox News, on CNN, on MSNBC. Like, these are where you should be. CNBC. Like, this is where they're at.
Yeah.
Meet them.
Somebody wrote this. Somebody said this. What do you think about this? Somebody said on X, they said that if Tesla started to advertise, like change the game and start to advertise and pay money, not because, of course, one of the benefits is to increase sales, but the other benefit is you get the mass media back on your side again, because if you become a big advertiser, they're going to reduce the number of hit pieces that they would do.
I mean, there's so much you can do. There's so much you can do that they're not doing. And look, for the longest time, I also believe like there's no need to advertise. Like, I really didn't. But things have changed now. FSD is at a point where it's different now. And even if it's not the most efficient use of capital, it's the right thing to do. Again, I care about doing good, not the perception of good. Elon sitting there talking about it, us talking about it in our YouTube channels and our echo chambers is not enough. Having Sawyer every once in a while, or Tesla Boomer Mama every once in a while on Bloomberg or CNBC for a little 10-second clip, not enough. Not enough.
I agree. This makes sense. This is the time. And especially if they roll out the more affordable vehicles, get out there. That's the number one problem. People couldn't buy it. Now they can. And then the same thing with FSD. Oh, man. Great. Appreciate Fiery Nick. Very good points. We agreed the whole time. Thank you.
We need to get loud as a community about this. We need to show them that we want this, that we want to get the message out there. We need to.
It's ready. It's time. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you, Nick. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.